law, breaking the 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 law.
Sometimes you end up in a tragedy just because of the innocent people who are involved in the collision, because this individual goes through a red light, doesn't show caution or care for anything. He's just trying to escape. But he may be wanted for other crimes other than the grand theft auto. There may be other crimes that he's committed. Right. He may have committed a robbery or something, Lauren. They don't know. It's a mystery. But the bottom line is he's obviously trying to elude that capture.
And here we go.
He's running into a dangerous situation now. He's backing up here. This road, I saw it, Foster Road, comes to an end, and he's got nowhere to go right now. He's got a gate there. He's backing up. This is such a dangerous situation. Officers with guns drawn. And let's see what he does. If he tries to make his way through here. If he rams that vehicle, they're going to open fire. They will open fire. If he uses that vehicle. Oh, shots fired. Shots fired.
Okay.
Glass, you can see the glass. Shots were fired. This is a situation. Now, you have to understand that deadly force is using a vehicle. He was driving right towards those officers, up on the sidewalk there, and gunfire has been exchanged. Again, at least two people inside this stolen vehicle, and we have shots fired here. And guns are still drawn here. This is Foster Road, where Foster Road dead ends right in the community, right on the border of Bellflower and Downey Road. And he came in into that. I saw that upcoming here with the river here, with the wash. And he chose to, he obviously did not know that that was a dead end, so he's not familiar with this neighborhood at all. And this self-storage facility here, really a dramatic end. Shots fired here, guns still drawn, still a very dangerous situation. We don't know if that suspect, if he's hit, if he's still conscious, if this is still, a live situation. Until we see code 4, it's not. And again, we heard that there was at least one other occupant inside the vehicle. He was driving right at officers. He had the opportunity to stop and give up, and he didn't. And again, a vehicle can be used as a deadly weapon, and
Dennis
he was driving right at officers.
Still on the phone with us. I'm sure you would agree with that.
Absolutely, and it is a deadly weapon. The vehicle is a deadly weapon. You've got officers out of the car in the roadway, red lights flashing, and he obviously knew what he was doing. He was trying to either ram the car, ram an officer. They used deadly force, and we've seen no movement. But what will happen now is the investigation with the different investigations that will take place from the Long Beach PD, the District Attorney's Office, et cetera. That area will be locked down for a long period of time. But fortunately, none of the officers were injured, and we saw the pursuit, the long pursuit, and all the people who were in jeopardy. So as it comes to an end now, I don't know about the passenger, but we don't see any movement on the driver's side, and multiple shots were fired, as you could see at the time it was taking place.
So let me ask you, Dennis, because you say that potentially ramming an officer, if this vehicle, there's two people we know of to be inside, the shots were fired. We don't know if any shots were fired from that vehicle as well. Lots of unknowns here. But if there was a situation where this car was not trying to ram anyone, but just simply trying to get onto the sidewalk there and to just go around all of the police that's just blocking them, he appears to be cornered. At what point do the officers make a decision, and is it an appropriate use of force to fire their weapons, or is it because we've seen such a dangerous situation that to get him back, the suspect back onto the streets again, would be extremely perilous to the drivers on the roadway?
Well, clearly it would be perilous to the driver's way he was driving, but they have to make that judgment call. You talk about a split-second judgment. As we saw, the first unit was stopped there, the doors open, the officer's out of the car. He made the turn, and he was coming toward them, and then another vehicle came up on the left. Then he went on the sidewalk, and if you notice the picture that you see, there's no room for that car to travel down that pathway because he's got the light, the street light, telephone pole, a very narrow sidewalk. I don't know what would happen at that point. But they made that judgment call. We talk about a split-second decision. They made that judgment call to use deadly force to bring this to an end because of the peril to the officers. Not that the public was in danger at that particular time, because you see it's an isolated area with the self-storage facility. So I don't want to second-guess these officers on what their decision was, but they were there at the time at the scene, and they made that call based upon what they believed at that time.
And they took that opportunity because they had it. You're watching the end of a high-speed pursuit going on since 6 o'clock this morning. It is now 6:45. It started in Long Beach. It has ended here at a dead-end street in Bellflower, where you can see police have this car surrounded. They have shot off several rounds into that vehicle.
It's
And Rick,
still
so
a
far
live
we haven't seen anybody
situation.
come out.
No, it's still a live situation. Guns are still drawn, and what we don't know either is if that suspect had a weapon in his possession as well. But it looks like he's coming out of the car. At least somebody is.
Interesting.
Somebody's coming out of the car there. It may have been the passenger, though. And you can see sheriff's deputies are here, as well as Long Beach Police. They have their barricades, their body barricades positioned as well. Guns are still drawn. You could see a lead officer there running the show here in terms of orders on how to handle this situation. A very fluid situation still. Such a dangerous pursuit. We saw so many close calls. This guy, a stolen vehicle suspect, driving recklessly here and running into a cul-de-sac, a dead end at this self-storage facility here, right on the border of Downey and Bellflower, just south of the 105 and just to the west of the 605 freeway.
And Rick,
There's
you
the
saw
suspect
these.
crawling
There you
over.
go.
Here comes the
Someone's crawling out.
suspect crawling over. Now, he may be, the officers may be telling him, giving him those orders. Obviously, someone else still inside the vehicle. They're going to take this individual into custody. It appears that he was the passenger. That's what it looks like from our vantage point. We don't have confirmation of that, nor do we have confirmation whether or not the individual who was driving the vehicle was hit. But from the amount of gunfire, the broken glass there, I'd be surprised if he wasn't. All right, let's see what happens
we
now.
saw the
One
smoke.
being taken into custody here. Fire will come. They will treat anybody who's injured. Paramedics will treat anybody who's been hit, and it's unclear if this guy is injured, but he's being taken into custody,
Okay,
being cuffed right now.
So Rick, we saw the smoke. We saw one person get out there crawling on the ground. That person, we believe, taken out into custody. Dennis Zine, right now we don't know whether or not the driver here, obviously, if that person has been incapacitated by the gunfire. We see the guns are still trained on that car.
That's correct. Now, the individual exited out of the driver's window. So if the driver is down in the seat, this individual crawled over that individual, you assume, to exit the car through the window on the driver's side, not exiting on the passenger side, which is interesting. But as we see, the officers are still there. They have a barricade that they're going to be utilizing as they approach the vehicle. They need to clear that vehicle, but they want to do it in a cautious manner. They don't know if that individual was actually hit when shots were fired, or if the individual was down. They have no idea. They know they have one in custody. There's one officer who's given the orders, and the other officer's there for support. But now they've got one in custody, and he doesn't appear to be injured. They'll place him in the police car, and then they want to clear that car and find out if that individual who's driving was hit. They'll give first aid. The rescue will be there to treat that individual, or if that individual succumbed to the injuries, we don't know. But they need to be cautious. That individual could have a weapon in there, and they don't obviously want to get hurt, shot. So they're going to be very cautious in approaching that car. And that's going to take some time until they make that move. But they're standing by, getting their formula, their plan together to make that approach, to check that out. The individual could be just plain that he is hurt. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's been killed. We don't know. So it's a big mystery, and that mystery will continue until they approach that vehicle and finally clear it. They're going to ask the passenger, if she was the passenger who exited, what the story is with the other individual who was driving the car. So there's a big mystery at this particular point. But you see the officers there together. They're formulating their plan. They'll approach that car.
And they're doing that right now. Here we go.
Okay,
they are
using
doing
a
that
shield.
right now. They're approaching the vehicle with the shield here. Again, this is in the parking lot of the storage outlet here on Foster Road in Bellflower, right on the border of Bellflower and Downey. And they are going to look inside the vehicle to see what they're dealing with. An injured suspect, perhaps being shot by officers. This ending in gunfire here, as this driver was just not yielding. He would not yield. He wanted to get away. And even this cul-de-sac, it wasn't going to, this dead end at this self-storage facility wasn't going to deter him. And he was leading his car right towards those officers. And the officers decided they had to open fire on the suspect. So now they have made their way into the vehicle here. And it looks like they're pulling on the suspect now to remove him from the vehicle. They'll clear the car, the trunk included.
Oh.
And the vehicle still kind of continues on there.
Looks like something was pulled out, or did it look like the body was pulled out?
That was the suspect, the driver. And now they're They're going to check the car to make sure it's completely clear, trunk included, as I said, and the vehicle's been cleared. That's a it is a code 4 situation. Suspect on the ground now.
Obviously, he had his foot on the brake there because the car moved.
And the officers have their gloves on there. And well, why not? We'll see if fire's here yet. Again, they will administer you know, any type of medical care that this individual needs, despite the fact.
Yeah, Rick Diggert reporting up live in Sky Fox at the at this pursuit, which has ended here on Foster Road in Bellflower. We are going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.